Thank you. All right, there's my timer. And we're translating, so if you want to listen, right, somebody's translating. Okay, so I work with ExoCoBio, okay? We all do that are here. All right, so I want us to understand a little bit about this evolution that we have from how we fight aging, this approach from replacing to rejuvenating or regenerating. And so we can approach this now, we're building longevity. We can change how things are, and we can use exosomes for that purpose. So regenerative medicine has become very popular. It's something dermatologists, plastic surgeons really never talked about until the last 5 or 6 years, especially in the United States. But it's a special branch of medicine that uses native and bioengineered cells, assistive devices when we need to, and engineering platforms to develop new treatments to heal tissues and organs, and it restores form and function. So we're actually transforming our cells to treat signs of aging, signs of disease or symptoms of disease, or damage to the skin. So exosomes, really, I love this slide. We've known about exosomes forever, right? We didn't know what they did until people like Biong came along and started telling us that these things have an effect on the skin that is really transformative. So again, the greatest story from trash to treasure. If you look at Google, right? Everybody looks at Google or whatever the equivalents are. The interesting thing is nobody Googled exosomes until 4 or 5 years ago. Now I bet you this number is even higher. The number of people that actually are searching out what is an exosome, what they do, how do they work, do they have benefit for my patients or for us? That has grown exponentially. And it's thanks to a lot of the work of the doctors sitting at these tables that have been part of this. I love this slide, right? Biong shared a lot of these slides with me, but I love this slide. So where do our patients get their information? Outside of Google, they read magazines or they scroll online and read magazines. Cosmopolitan, Elle, Vogue, those are the popular magazines. And last year, they said perhaps exosomes are bigger than Botox. Botox changed everything in cosmetic surgery. Most of us wouldn't be doing what we do without Botox. It just really was that game changer that we have all used for years and years and years. But the question is, can we do better, right? Are exosomes the next thing? But I show this slide all the time. Above the water, that's what we know about exosomes. Below the water, what we still have to learn, right? And as Biong mentioned, publications and scientific endeavors and scientific studies are the only way we're going to do this. And without it, it means nothing. So when you're out there looking at different exosome products, the first thing you need to say is, show me the data that you've generated. Show me the publications that you've done. And then it becomes real for all of us. So there are a lot of papers out there. I edit now 3 journals in dermatology. These are just representative review articles. Update on exosomes. Another one here, role of exosome in skin diseases. So as a dermatologist, I'm fascinated. What can exosomes do for my dermatologic patients? Not just my aesthetic patients, but what about my dermatology patients? We know it has an effect, and we'll show you some of that tonight. Another patient on hair, right? We're gonna have more talks on hair. And then these are my students. And my students, along with Paul Lorenz, who's a fabulous plastic surgeon in New York, we put together a review of medical and cosmetic applications. again, this is what's needed because we go back and look at the evidence. We go back and see what's been done and what needs to be done. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the busy stuff, right? We know exosomes are what are a part of a family called extracellular vesicles, and they play a pivotal role in regulating skin processes. They're the communicators between cells, and they're necessary for cells to talk to each other. And again, we have lots going on with it. So again, and this is another paper. Serena Wiles is at the Mayo Clinic in the United States, spends a lot of time studying exosomes. And again, I think this is important, and we have this attention. So what's in red is important, right? Exosomes are extracellular vesicles. They contain nucleic acid, DNA, mRNA, miRNA. As Byung said, the miRNA team got the Nobel Prize this year, which is very special, right? And I think that's great. Exosomes are the smallest of these vesicles, and that's important too. So again, this is just a table. And again, microRNA, some have growth factors, messenger RNA, but exosomes, or these extracellular vesicles, are found in every body fluid, right? So they're part of our whole body. Every fluid in our body contains exosomes, and I think that, and they're constantly secreted, and they're essential, as I said, in manipulating cell communication and gene expression. All right, this is my stop for a moment and talk to you for a moment. So before the pandemic, especially in the United States, we had exosomes, and people were injecting them into everybody's body. You name it. You had shoulder pain, you were getting an injection of exosomes. You had back pain, you were getting an injection of exosomes. You were getting it for anything that ailed you, you were getting injections of exosomes. The FDA came out toward the late, right around 2000, and said that this stuff, these are not drugs. So we can't use these as drugs because drugs change the structure and function of what we're treating, and therefore exosomes in the United States and around a lot of places around the world now, we can only apply them topically as cosmetics. So these are cosmetically applied products, and you can use them post-procedure, but you have to do it topically. Unfortunately, even in the United States, I know lots of people that still inject exosomes, but that's a violation of FDA rules, and people put their medical license at risk. So again, public safety notification on exosomes. But again, lots of companies are looking at this, and Exoco Bio has been the leader in this, and that's why I'm up here. Again, I don't work with companies that don't put science behind them, and I don't work with companies that don't have the top doctors working with them. So you're going to hear later from Dr. Diane Duncan, who is a pioneer in plastic surgery and a very good friend. And so when I hear that she's part of this world, okay, it piques my interest and says, okay, I want to be part of this. So, things that are important, right? We need to know about the cell line. Can we scale this up? We need to know everything that's here, especially in the human-based derived exosomes. All right, the source obviously matters, right? And we use human-based things in the United States and plant-based things in the United States. In certain parts of the world, you can't use human products, derived products for treatments. So if you're in the European Union, you cannot use, mesenchymal or adipose or umbilical exosomes. That's why we have plant-based exosomes. But most of the plant-based exosomes that exist in the United States have zero clinical data. So you heard a little bit about the plant-based rose stem cell exosomes, and they already have publications on this. Well, the other ones have been around longer and have no publications. So I think that's important too. So again, we have all these different kinds of exosomes, and we'll worry about them later. So the things that you should ask, right? These are the things you should ask every company, and if you're taking pictures, this is a good one. You want to know the source, how they're isolated. We want to know the concentration, right? But the concentration is a number that is really hard to define. My exosomes have 5 million exosomes, and yours has 10 million exosomes, and the next one has 15 million exosomes in the vial. I want to make sure they're pure exosomes, right? That's more important to me than the number. We want to know that they're pure, and we want to know that they're efficient. So again, we have this needs to be updated. You heard the new numbers, and that's good. And all of this needs to be updated. But again, one of the things now, they have 29 papers, they have 90 some odd patents. That's where it's important, right? They've done the work to get where they are. So in skin-related applications, anti-aging, dermatologically in certain skin conditions, we'll talk about wound healing and surgery, all helpful. And what we also know is that we can actually see all the different things. So on the dermatitis side, we can help with itching, with the flare of atopic dermatitis. You've seen the acne data. You're going to hear amazing things about hair. And I've told who you're going to hear in a little while, if you can make white hair black, and they have to come in every year or every 6 months for another treatment, you win, right? If you have gray hair like me and I can just put a little exosomes on there and it turns my hair dark, you win. So hair is a major, major thing to be studying with exosomes. So I think that's really important. Again, there's different sources that we talk about. So in the United States, ExoCoBio works in partnership with a company called Benev. They're a partner. Again, these products are not drugs. They are not intended to prevent, treat, cure diseases or medical conditions. They are not to be injected or delivered intravenously. Now, having said that, right, we as the aesthetic physicians are the beneficiary of exosomes. We get to use them now. But if you're in the United States and you're actually looking at this as a drug, you have to spend 50 million, 100 million US dollars to go through the pathways to get approval. And if exosomes do what they think they might do and work on heart disease, cancers, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, I'm all for it, right? I think that's great, but it's going to take years of development. And as I said, we are, as the aesthetic doctors, topically, we're the beneficiaries of using them now. The other thing that Biong mentioned is the publications, right? I edit journals. This is very important to me. So we have lots. You've seen a slide like this before. We're learning so much more about the anti-aging, the prejuvenation, skin barrier repair, and the anti-inflammatory. So we can use this right now topically for all of these indications and many more. So that's good. This was a landmark study that ExoCoBio helped us oversee. The first double-blind randomized treatment of acne scars using a CO2 laser and then putting on the exosomes on one side versus the other side. Fascinating study, and it showed how well it worked. This is another one looking at microneedling for facial skin aging. Again, randomized split-face study. And most of these studies are being duplicated in the United States. So in the United States, there's a lot of skepticism from anything that's not done in the United States, right? It's okay. I live in the United States. I want to see US studies, but we're doing those studies now. So I've finished the similar kind of study as this. Others have done other studies with biopsies, so we get some things to figure out. And again, we can use this post our lasers to make things happen faster, make healing happen faster. That's the goal of what we're doing. So that's all important. All right, scare and help we're going to talk about a lot later, but we can grow hair, right? Again, not injecting this stuff into the scalp. doing a procedure, whether it's a needling or a non-ablative fractional laser or whatever you like, to take people like this and make them look like this. So I think this is really helpful and really important. A patient like this, and then our person that helped develop the ExoBomb, I think is a great product for our patients to use. This is one of Diane's patients. Are you going to show this? Are you going to show this patient? Okay, we'll skip over this. We also saw about the acne and all this stuff. So rose stem, again, you heard about, it's there. And so we have anti-aging, anti-inflammation, skin barrier, and scalp rejuvenation. What's interesting about this, the dermatology world, atopic dermatitis, seborrheic dermatitis, these things are responding, itching, and so forth, work really well with this product. So topical exosomes are a growing part of what we do. The source is crucial, clinical studies are crucial, and FDA guidance is critical. So I want to thank you for letting me talk to you a little bit tonight. I hope everybody is enjoying themselves, and we appreciate being here in Hanoi. And everybody have a great rest of your evening.